he could tell that he was being underestimated. Dre, he isn't tonight. Robeisy's been waiting on this one, the rematch.
Well, make no mistake about it, Robeisy Ramirez is not just after redemption tonight. He's after validation. He's already proven that he was a great amateur. He's here to prove that he's now a great pro.
Tim, the quick turnaround. It was only 23 days ago that Robeisy was in there and had the first round TKO of Yuri Andujar. Scored 2 knockdowns in that first round. Had the uppercut and then scored the other knockdown with the left hand. So the quick turnaround, and here he is for the rematch.
Yeah, ever since that first loss that he took to Gonzalez, Ramirez has been on a tear. You know, he's came off of 3 consecutive knockout wins. And let me tell you, fellas, he's looking for one tonight. He's being patient, being calm, and he's looking for the perfect shot to line up Gonzalez.
There's a left hand that scored from Ramirez.
The motivation that Adan Gonzalez brings to this ring tonight is obviously he wants to prove that the first fight was not a fluke, but he just simply believes that Robeisy Ramirez is not better than him.
You know, Dre, you got a good point. That's the first sign of success right there. When you don't believe the hype, when you come in there with a game plan and you hungry and you determined, and then you execute that game plan. That's what Gonzalez did in that first fight. He didn't believe the hype. He didn't care about the hype. A lot of times these guys, they get fear in them because of the hype of the fighter.
Ramirez coming in behind that southpaw jab and then throws the left hand and then meets him with a left hand that Gonzalez tries to shake off as he came forward.
Ramirez is looking very sharp tonight, offensively, defensively, and Adan Gonzalez is the one that's looking like he has no answers, at least for the moment.
Remember, it was Gonzalez who scored that knockdown in the first round of their first fight. And now this is a more focused and sharper version of Robeisy Ramirez. And shocking upset in his pro debut. In that first round, Ramirez enjoyed a 10-6 connect advantage, according to CompuBox.
You know, a lot of times people believe that just because you're a great amateur, you will make a great pro. But you must refine those skills once you get into the pros. And you know, the pro game is just a different etiquette. You know what I mean? You gotta fight like a pro. You gotta sit down on your punches. You gotta hurt these men. It's not about, you know, point fighting. You know, Ramirez had to go back to the drawing board after the loss to Gonzalez, so that way he can behave like a pro.
And that included a trainer change with Ismael Salas Bernardo. What are they saying to each other?
Ismael told me, look, the biggest correction I made for this fight in the rematch was the positioning in the ring. I've got him moving to his opponent's right hand because when he swings wildly with that right hand, he lunges, and we've got to take advantage of that.
Something we will look for. This time he corners him.
Gonzalez, yeah, it's not going to be an easy task to help Ramirez shed his, you know, his amateur skin. He's had over 400 amateur fights, 2 gold medals. It can be done, but it takes time, and he's slowly growing into his professional palms right now.
There you go.
Gonzalez comes forward with a body punch.
Shout hustling, baby.
One of the punches that I see that Ramirez doesn't use often, and it would definitely improve his game, is the jab, the lead jab. You know, he's doing a lot of hooks and straight left hands, but no jabs.
Slip there.
That was a mean shoulder bump right there from Ramirez.
Okay, you ready? Clear head? Okay.
Step.
Watch the wrestle.
Boom. Wow.
Just laid that right shoulder
Ladies
right
and
into
gentlemen,
his chest.
Tess, I don't care. That means it's personal. That's what that means. I don't care what Ramirez told us. He said that it's not personal. He just needs to behave like a professional. No, that was a personal move right there from him.
And he backs him up with a double jab in the left hand and then meets him with a left hand to the body when Gonzalez came.
Yes, that's something I've seen many, many times from Cuban fighters. And I saw it in the 2004 Olympics, and I asked him about it in the fighter meeting yesterday, and he agreed. He said, this is psychological warfare, and if my opponent is sitting down and I'm standing up, that's a win for me. I'm sending him a message. There's a lot of micro battles in the midst of the big battle that people are unaware of, but the good fighters and the great fighters, they understand that.
Yeah, he's standing up now. He's going 6 rounds, but when he gets to 10, 12, I know he's going to be taking the seat, Greg.
See, the problem for Gonzalez when he's facing a fighter with as many skills and as much experience as Ramirez is, Ramirez can do multiple different things. He can box, he can slug, he can counter. Gonzalez is a guy who is tough. He gets in shape, and he brings his one game, which is just pressure and fight hard, and he's been unable to do that tonight. He can't even put pressure on Ramirez because Ramirez is controlling the center of the ring.
No doubt about it that he's tough and he's game, and that was forged during his teenage years. And this is a young man, Adan Gonzalez from Denver, who was facing a lot of issues. 15 years old, was living on the street. His trainer took him in at the TLC gym, and he slept on an air mattress in the middle of the ring, would wake up at 5:30, would get in work, run, still wakes up early, gets a full day of work in, and then goes and trains and cares for his family. But he's not bashful when it comes to being tough and putting in hard work and overcoming some adversity in life. Comes forward that time with a 2-punch combination.
Tess, that's the kind of stuff that movies are made of.
Sure is. Well, and as Mark Kriegel mentioned earlier tonight, he truly had his Rocky moment in Philadelphia, of being the ultimate underdog who was just supposed to show up and follow the script, and the next thing you know, he pulls off the upset in Ramirez's pro debut. Tonight, he's a plus 600 underdog, having won the first fight. There's a left hand in the midst of that exchange from Robeisy Ramirez. And now with him pinned up against the ropes, they trade.
Now you see Robeisy walking down Gonzalez. He wants to take him out. He wants to get in the inside and break this young man down to the body and land a kill shot up top. Inside the pocket, there he is. He makes Gonzalez miss, and then boom, meets him up top with a nice left hand. As you see, Gonzalez actually squared up, throwing a left hook, leaving himself exposed, and Ramirez made him pay.
One of his 10 power punches landed in that third round.
The most impressive thing for me from the exchange we just saw and other exchanges in that last round was not the punches landed from Ramirez, but where his head placement was. He kept his head down. He punched to the body, he punched to the head, but he never raised his chin up in the air. Those were those professional bones that I was talking about earlier. And if you're Adan Gonzalez, he's on the record. He's being quoted as saying that he has 19-year-olds in his boxing gym that hit harder than Ramirez. Well, when this fight starts and you're facing a guy like Robeisy, you got to back that up, because this is a fighter who came up in a system where their duty was to win. It wasn't about medals, it was about gold medals. So when you say something like that to a guy like this, you got to back it up.
Robeisy with his tongue sticking straight out as he comes in against Gonzalez. Gonzalez comes in, targeting that body.
Yeah, Gonzalez is being smart right now. What he's doing is he's using his legs to get out, and then occasionally he'll jump in with a combination and catch Ramirez off guard. I know he's hitting gloves and arms and stuff like that, but you know the judges, they sit there and they look at these things.
There's a right hand to the body from the southpaw Cuban. And a lead left that tries to split the guard.
I think what's odd to me about Gonzalez is that Ramirez is right where he wants him to be, right directly in front of him. But Gonzalez is not letting his hands go. He's afraid to let his hands go because he's afraid to get countered. So he's feeling the power, trust me.
Something that Adan Gonzalez mentioned, Dre, in that first fight, about he wasn't ready for my power and he felt my power.
But I think it looks like Ramirez is doing the same thing as the first time. He looks like he's right there. He's making subtle adjustments that are making things hard for Gonzalez.
Trying to find another way to upset Robeisy Ramirez, Dre.
This is what 400 fights and two gold medals will get you. Look at that skill, the feint. He got Gonzalez out of position, and he just hit him with a jab, and you may say that's not a big deal. But as the fight progresses, you'll start to see the left hand come and the right hook come. That's just to get him in position and to get Gonzalez exactly where he wants him. Great movement from Ramirez.
Watch the heads, watch the heads.
Using one of the lost arts in boxing, which is feinting, which you just see him do right there. A feint is there to freeze the opponent and it's almost like a misdirection play in football. You look like you're doing one thing, but you're really doing something else, and then boom, you counter. Very discouraging for an opponent.
Let's check in with Bernardo and hear what's going on in the corner of Adan Gonzalez.
Watch the heads, watch the heads. Stop!
Donald Camarena told me, look, I do think Robeisy's ahead just slightly here, but it's a close fight. But what we need to do is stop just loading up. When he throws combinations and moves side to side, he has success. But when he loads up, that's when he lets Robeisy Ramirez do his thing.
Special relationship between his trainer, Donald Camarena, and Adan Gonzalez. Timmy, you fought Donald way back when, didn't you?
Yeah, I did fight his trainer. So it was good to see him in the trainer of Gonzalez, Tess. He was a really good southpaw himself.
Dre, that's when you know you're getting old, is when you fought guys' trainers. That's the Dre. When you hit that point, I want you to let me know.
Oh my goodness, you can't deny that, Timmy. You're getting up there, brother.
No, I know. It's all right. It's life, baby. Man, a jab would serve Ramirez so much more if he used it. It'll blind. That's what the jab does. It blinds and hides the offense.
Getting after a little bit in that red corner. Ramirez step to him.
You see some of the punishment soaking in on the face of Adan Gonzalez right now.
Yeah, you see the swelling around that right eye, Dre. That left hand has found a home.
No jabs. No jabs from Ramirez. He can do a lot more. He can get Gonzalez to open up with the offense if he shot his jab out there.
Good work to finish out the fifth round. We'll touch him up for the sixth and final round. Back in August of 2019, it was a 4-round split decision that went Gonzalez's way. Things look a little different now. 6 rounds here. Ramirez has outlanded him 54-43. He's landed 46 of 100 power punches thrown. A clash of heads that time.
No touch, watch it. Both of you guys.
You're gonna have to get in there and fight, bro.
See that movement right there? Go ahead, Dre. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say it was the absolute worst circumstances you can have for a young fighter who has 2 gold medals. His first fight, losing a decision, getting knocked down, and the only way that Ramirez can deal with that thorn in his side, that loss, is to face the opponent who beat him and to prove that the first fight was a fluke.
Look, this is a new Ramirez to me. I mean, he's been reprogrammed, and I have to say that's because of the great relationship that he has with his trainer, Ismael Salas, and the communication and the guidance that he has put. He's refined this young man, Ramirez. He looks a lot better, a lot more under control, and really winning this fight pretty easy, in my opinion.
Si tienen que cerrar con broche de oro la amenaza. Yo sé que tú puedes. Métele bien duro.
You got to give the coach a lot of credit.
Vamos, vamos, con la mano adelante.
But Ramirez also said that I wasn't disciplined. I didn't train properly the first fight. We know we hear fighters say that all the time, but you got to think about where he came from. Cuba, being on the national team, he was told to do everything. He had to work out. He had to run when they told him to run. Now he's in America, and he does it when he wants to do it. And he can give the type of effort that he wants to give or not give. So that's also an adjustment for a guy like Robeisy Ramirez.
Se quiere quitar.
Freedom.
Si le da fuerte, él se quita.
Hey, with freedom, there still comes responsibility, Dre. And he didn't handle his business the first time. He's handling his business well tonight.
Yes, he is.
Robeisy ya se está acabando, nene.
Stop! Stop! Keep him up. Keep him up.
Métasela
Good.
ahora arriba.
Let's go.
Esa.